Coming up next, Travelogue explores Erhai Lake, getting a musical lesson in life and love from the Bai. I try my hand at an ancient decorative art and kick back in a lavish lakeside guest house. With the morning, we head east from Dali's old city to explore its famous lake. This is the ship we're going to get on to see what Lake Erhai has to offer. I'm really excited. Setting off from the shore, you can catch a glimpse of Dali's new city, or Xiaguan. But before long, most signs of modernity vanish from view. Feeling refreshed and with a leisurely cruise ahead, I'm ready for my first lesson in Bai culture. One that's just as entertaining as it is educational. While a group of young Bai women perform a cultural dance about courtship and marriage, we're treated to their traditional 3 tea ceremony. It's a way to honor guests and reflects the 3 stages of life. The first cup of tea is bitter, signifying hard work. The second serving is sweet, pointing to what the Bai consider the most enjoyable middle stage of life. The last has a strong aftertaste. It's called reflection tea, symbolizing time to look back during the twilight years of our life. After going through a whole lifetime in one morning, I feel pretty productive and ready to get back to shore and see some of the smaller villages around Lake Erhai. Now, if you missed signs of Bai culture on the streets of the old city, you certainly won't miss it here. Each village has a regular market, which takes place once or up to 3 times a week, depending on the village's size. It's the perfect place to observe the customary Bai way of life and get a sense of their huge variety of fresh Yunnan produce that makes up their cuisine. It's also a great opportunity to spot some of the traditional clothing worn by Bai women of all ages. The colors and designs may seem similar, but there are subtle differences, depending on whether the wearer is married or not. We've just arrived in a town close to Lake Erhai, which is very famous for a particular type of baitsu tie-dye. The women of Zhoucheng and Dali use a textile dyeing technique which originated more than 1,000 years ago. It's a long process and starts with the painting of various patterns onto plain cotton sheets. Once the sheets are dry, they begin sewing lines of intricate knots into each of them. The way they do this will determine the look of the end product. She's teaching me how to sew using the guides that they just painted onto the material. I'm kind of worried I'm going to ruin it, but I'll give it a go. Feels okay. I'm very slow at this though. I think if I had to do this, it would take forever. So I think you just follow the pattern here, going in. So I think we just put the thread in and out following the patterns that was made. Ah, okay. Let's wrap it around and make that tight little knot she showed me just a few seconds ago. There you go. That's my little accomplishment. Once the knots are done, the sheet's ready to be dipped in dye and hung to dry. Whereas it takes these ladies 20 days from start to finish to complete a whole sheet, you can come here and do it for yourself in just 1 hour. Pay about 30 kwai for a t-shirt, and at the end of your time here, ta-da! You can have your very own baitsu style tie-dye shirt to take away. And something extra for your wardrobe too. Okay, so in 1 hour, you might not be able to make the most authentic Bai textile, but you'll definitely be able to buy one prepared earlier. Each sheet is decorated with a pattern representing different aspects of their culture and lifestyle. And the end result, these sheets, can be used for a number of things. They can be bed sheets or tablecloths or hung on the wall as pieces of art. That's why they take so long to make. They're made for everyday use and they're made to last. Brand new Baitsu tie-dye scarf in hand, we make our way back to the water's edge. There's so many places to visit around Lake Erhai, and the best and cheapest way to explore them all is by renting a bike. You can easily find a place that rents them out for about 20 or 30 kwai, or if you want to go a little bit faster, you can rent out an electric bike for about 60 kwai. Keeping with the slow living theme, I opt for the good old basic push bike. I'm not exactly the need for speed type anyway. I've always loved the feeling of riding a bike. You feel like you're flying, so free. And doing it around Lake Erhai, where the scenery is so beautiful, there's nothing better. I pedal my way to Shuanglang, a village on the other side of the lake. Once upon a time, this was a sort of sleepy fishing village. But today, it also offers something a bit more luxurious. But no matter your budget, the still waters and quietness of Shuanglang provide the perfect setting for getting some quality R&R. There are lots of different options for people who want to stay around Lake Erhai. Hotels and guest houses, but if I had my pick, I would choose to stay here. Not only because this is a very special guest house, but because it has a very special story. There are countless places in Dali where you can check in and enjoy rustic simplicity. But this is not one of those places. Mr. Wang Jiang's Skylight Resort is designed to feel like your little corner of paradise. And I gotta admit, it's pretty close.
Dali 是白族，他们原来的一种社会发展。经济发展没有这么快的时候，他们的生活方式都是比较慢的一种状态，所以我相信很多人来大理就是因为有这么好的气候，完了它的一种空间感又比较不会让人比较觉得很拥挤，它是回到一个生活的一个原点，你可以每天做一点事情，每天慢慢的去在做的过程当中呢，去体验一种生活的很多细节的东西。就像我在盖这个房子的时候，它也是就是说，第一呢，就是你会去尊重当地的一种文化，就是原来白族的一种很美的一种审美的一种对房子概念的一种感觉。
It's built around a courtyard garden. Each room makes the most of the lake's temperate warm climate, and each piece of furniture was individually picked by Mr. Wang Jiang himself. Those who stay here as guests are able to cook their own meals and perhaps even entertain their own guests over there. I guess that's what makes this place really different. You're not just coming to Shuanglang and staying at a hotel as a temporary visitor. You get to live here and really experience the lifestyle of living here. And that's what makes this place so special. And don't worry if you can't afford to stay at a place like this. You can always enjoy the view for free.